Joined by Davis Sanchez and OverDrive's Bryan. And guys, we're just over a week from the NFL kicking off the 2024 season, and as it currently stands, the New York Jets are the favorites to win the AFC East. What? Yeah, it should be noted that the Bills actually had the shortest odds to win the division as recently as a week ago. It's also worth mentioning that Buffalo currently has the shortest Super Bowl odds in the division. So, Ches, do you believe the Jets deserve to be the favorites who haven't been to the playoffs in forever? They're now the favorites, should they be, to win the AFC East?
Yeah, they should be the favorites to win the AFC East. When you look at this roster, Dave, it's a roster that's as good as anybody. Actually, they should be favored to win the Super Bowl if we're just looking at the roster, because the questions are not with where they are. Top defense, NFL, the weapons they have, the quarterback they have. They're as good on paper as anybody in this league. So sure, because that's how we judge things going into the league, is what's the roster look like entering the season. So they should be favored. The question I have is, can they stay healthy, and why I would be hesitant to back the Jets. Now, you got Tyron Smith, who's 34 years old, has a history of injuries. If he gets hurt, they're done. If Aaron Rodgers gets hurt and 41 years old, coming off an Achilles, I can't trust it. I can't back this team because I can't trust it with a 41-year-old coming off the injury. So for me, Mike Williams, again, injury. Breece Hall, even a year removed from a serious injury. All these injuries, the only things have to happen right for this team to succeed. It's going to be tough, but right now on paper, this could be the best team, not only in the AFC East, but in the NFL.
They're loaded. They are loaded on both sides of the ball. Like, there's no disputing that. They also have a softer schedule, too, right? Like, you look at it, the AFC East, they're going to play the AFC South, the NFC West, the interdivisional. Then you look at the Jets, the 3 games they've got out on their own: Broncos, Vikings, Steelers, Bills, Ravens, Chiefs, Lions. So, like, it's a thin margin, right, when we're talking who's going to maybe get to 11 wins, who's going to get to 12 wins. But I can't do it with the Jets. I'm sorry, I just can't do it with the Jets because they're the New York Jets. I need to see it before I can truly believe it, because I love that defense. Love that defense. I think they've got weapons on the offensive side of the ball. I know it. But at times in pro football, you can isolate it to who's your coach, who's your quarterback. I don't trust Robert Saleh yet. I don't trust he can drive them to the playoffs compared to Mike McDaniel in Miami and Sean McDermott in Buffalo. I don't believe he deserves that level of respect considering what he's done in New York and what those two have done in their respective cities. And Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he is what he is. We all know he's one of the all-time greats, but he'll be 40 years old. He is 40. He'll be 41 this year, coming off an Achilles injury. I trust Tua more. I certainly trust Josh Allen more. Coach-quarterback combo in Miami, I trust more, and I trust more in Buffalo. So I just can't get there with the Jets in terms of them definitely being the best team in the AFC East. Could they win it? Sure. Am I willing to put money on it today? Absolutely not.
Well, they might have the third best offense in the AFC East, but I think they have the best defense, especially if you look at what's happened with Buffalo and losing Matt Milano. So that, I think, will keep them close in a lot of games. I'm kind of like you, Bryan. I have trouble with just the Jets' DNA of the franchise. Like, I can't take a team that's been outside of the playoffs for essentially a decade and had 7 wins as the high point and say, yeah, they're the AFC East champions this year, over a team like Buffalo, which, despite their shortcomings in January, certainly has a culture of winning in the regular season under Sean McDermott.
I would say this, to back your point, and if I'm going to back the Jets, the one thing that I would need, a 41-year-old quarterback coming off of an Achilles injury, I would have to have a run game that was truly dominant. Last year, their run game efficiency, bottom 4 in the NFL. That's not good. And they're a bottom 5 pass protection as well. But
that'll help with the offensive line, though, right? That'll improve with the O-line.
The line's better. Breece Hall's coming back.
Absolutely.
And I think Hall's got a real chance. But you're right. If he runs for miles, if that line stays together, you can make the case for the Jets. You can look at that offense. You can look at that defense and the whole picture, like you're saying. That's a legit football team, man. There's a reason they have the odds they have. But they also have the history they have. And at this point, they haven't played a game yet. And prior to 4 snaps last year, it was like, here come the Jets. They love the hype in the offseason. There's certain teams in pro sports that own hype in the offseason. The city of New York does it probably better than any city on earth, and the Jets can do it too. I got to see it to believe it.
Well, I'll tell you, Aaron Rodgers was adding to the hype when I was in New Jersey at their training camp. He said Garrett Wilson can be the best receiver in the NFL. He's going to help him be so, and he told Garrett Wilson exactly that as well. In the Robert Saleh era, the Jets have a combined record of 4-14 against all AFC East opponents, but his quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, won just over 70% of his regular season division matchups when he was with the Packers in the NFC North.